Well, house prices in this country ticked higher recently. What could be the driving forces for prices from here, whether they continue to go higher or perhaps get dragged down further? Joining us is Charles St. Arnaud, chief economist with Alberta Central and former economist at the Bank of Canada. Thanks so much for making time today.
My pleasure. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Yeah, so it seems like there has been quite a change in the market. Maybe not, a huge change in terms of the momentum behind prices right now, but prices had been falling for months, and we've seen, a bit of a change. Do you think that there is a bottom in at this point on prices, or is it still up in the air?
Well, it's still not clear. We're seeing kind of a tug of war between two very important fundamentals in the economy or in the housing market. On one side, last year we saw the impact of higher interest rates, the big decline in affordability that was linked to that and to higher prices. So we had over the past year continuous decline in house prices. Actually, the increase in March was the first one in almost a year, in more than a year actually. So on that front, you still have those constraints that are limiting demand for housing and kind of putting a constraint on the housing market. But on the flip side, what we're seeing in recent months, and it was really quite easy to see in March, is that there is barely any inventories in the market. New listings in Canada are currently at their lowest since 2004. So you have weak supply and weak demand at the same time, and it kind of leads to a very interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it is interesting, Charles, because, it does seem like the Bank of Canada's pause really seemed to spark some enthusiasm out there from the buyer's side of things, but not so much from the seller's side. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's a big issue is affordability and kind of the general real estate environment. So yes, house prices have corrected. They're now 15% lower than they were a year ago, but we're still 30% higher than pre-pandemic. So the prices are still elevated. So it's still hard for many buyers to come on the market. But at the same time, we have also other dynamics. Rents are increasing rapidly in most major cities in the country. So again, maybe pushing some people who would be renters to be willing to come to the market. And those who are actually owning a house and would be ready to downsize, maybe starting to wonder, well, should I be downsizing because I can still afford the house I have at the moment?
Yeah, I'm curious about the rental market and the strength that, we are seeing there. Does that maybe keep some investors that might be, particularly stretched right now in the market and holding on to their homes if they're able to rent them out for, a fairly good price?
Yeah, well, it's probably helped those investors to have better return on their investment. It also support demand for housing. I can speak for here in Calgary. We've seen a big pickup in the condo market, and a lot of it has been out of province investors coming to Alberta, taking advantage of lower prices, but also increasing rents.
Yeah, are there any, standout areas in the country that are either really underscoring what you're saying or maybe even bucking the trend that you think would be important to touch on?
Well, I think one of the things that's very interesting is that when we look, for example, Calgary is one of the rare cities in Canada where we haven't had a correction. Prices have plateaued over the past 12 months, but haven't declined. And part of it is prices are affordability is still quite high. We never had the same excess as, for example, the Greater Toronto area, so there was less need for correction. And there's still also some very positive migration towards to Alberta, supporting again demand in those markets. Then you have also more constraint in terms of Ontario, where you've had a big decline in affordability. Actually, some calculation I did earlier this year, house prices in Ontario have never been so unaffordable since the early 80s. So that put a lot of pressure and a lot of constraint on buyers.
Yeah, what do you make of the affordability situation that we're in, Charles? Because if prices do find a bottom here, they're at levels that aren't in line with many people's incomes and their ability to be able to purchase a home. What sort of future do you see for the housing market in this country and for Canadians' abilities to be part of it?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest issue we have, and we see it in the short-term dynamic, the lack of inventory, the lack of supply in the short term is likely to keep price higher. But when we look further down the road in the next few years, we've had very weak housing starts in most areas in Canada. We have very strong migration. Population in Canada is growing at a fast pace. So at some point, there will be some increasing pressures on housing prices, either houses, but also on the rental side. And that will have some very important implications for household finances, because suddenly, well, we always say households shouldn't pay more than 30% of their income in shelter costs. Well, at some point, that might have to be thrown out the window, and that will mean that the average household have to spend more for shelter. And that means they need to reduce spending on other part of the economy. So can be going out, can be on travel, can be on all those kind of parts. And you will see underperformance in consumer spending.